Welcome back, Overwatch fans, to another amazing night. We have a fantastic match tonight, no question about it. Oh my god, yes!
With the barrage! Make sure they can't even follow up afterwards.
And Lost is down 2 in this fight thus far. Make that 3, make that 4 right now here. Dynamic team gets a 4-man tire.
Those who find the picks will save the fights, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
100 gets 3 wins the primal race.
Experience tranquility.
Evening, Overwatch fans. Welcome to Tranquility Gaming's Transcendence tier preseason finals here in Season 9. I am Mr. Yeti. Joining me tonight is Beth Khan. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. How are you, Yeti?
It is an awesome night. I am psyched. I am jazzed. I am ready to go. Had a busy day at work, but that day is done. And now we are just here to enjoy some fantastic Overwatch between these two teams. They really had a long slog of a tournament to get to the actually only NYAA had to win one match. Amnesia got a bye to get here. But it's a finals nonetheless. And here we are, despite the path that they both took to get here. We are here in a 1-4. Amnesia coming in from the Nostalgia org, who put all 3 of their teams into preseason finals this season, have to follow up Flashback's win last night 4-1 over Strix, while NYAA, a Tranquility mainstay as well. This is their first preseason championship appearance, I believe, and their first opportunity to really make an impact this season. Beth, what in particular are you looking for from these two teams tonight?
Honestly, I'm just excited to see some really good high-level play. Like you mentioned, they didn't necessarily have the roughest road to get here, given how few teams signed up. That said, both of these teams are full of Tranquility veterans, high-level players who have been in the community for a long time, as well as some new faces. So I'm just excited to see what these two teams bring to the table and see what we can expect from them as we move forward in the season.
All right, two fantastic teams here, no question about it. Ready to make their first initial statement here in the Transcendence tier. This is a 1-4 matchup tonight that is 4 maps. It could be a 4-0, it could be a 4-3, it could be a 4-3 on map 8. We've seen it done before, and I've casted it before, and I can tell you firmly that I partially kind of hope that doesn't happen for the sake of my throat, but it would be very fun to watch.
Yeah, I have work tomorrow. It'd be nice if we could, but at the same time, if it's a good game,
quick,
it's a good
guys.
game, right?
No, exactly. We're here for an entertaining Overwatch match tonight. Again, it's a 1-4 in the twilight here of Overwatch 1, kicking it off, of course, first and foremost with Control, and we are going to kick it off on Busan this week for your first matchup here. Busan, a map you get a little bit of variety, but a lot of these teams, once we start getting into these compositions, once you start getting into these higher levels here of play, this Masters, borderline GM level, you start to see a lot more, prevalent metas kind of take shape. And are you expecting to kind of see that ball tracer composition that seems to be so prevalent right now?
Knowing very little about both of these teams, I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. One of the reasons I love Busan is how each point has a very different meta to it. At least in the Harmony tier, it's like 1 point is the Brawl point, 1 point is the 6-man point, 1 point is the Ball Sig point. So honestly, I hope that both of these teams decide to mix it up a little bit on each point, show us what they can do, run us through our paces, and just really see what they bring to the table here. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up running through.
All right, both teams right now getting ready. It looks like a couple people still getting up to speed in the lobby as we're getting this going here. Now, again, we are in the Transcendence tier. This is our 3,300 to 4,000 tier, team average 3,750. So we do see, again, that Masters level of play from these players on each of these teams. One thing I will say is that tomorrow night we are also going to be bringing you the Discord tier preseason championship, so you're going to want to tune in for that as well. That is between Reminiscence and MI7, as Reminiscence Season 7 champions here in Tranquility, going up against a newcomer this season in MI7, so should be a very good one. But here we are tonight, going to Busan between Amnesia and NYAA, and we are going to the game here. Starting off, it looks like in downtown Busan, and we wait to see what both these teams expect to pick. What kind of comps do you like to run on this, Beth? I know different level of play, but
very different level of play. But we tend to run a lot of 6-man on this point, and it looks like that's what Amnesia is showing here too. Just really good point for it. You got the high grounds to control, you got the megas to hack. Sombras can do a lot of damage on this point. But if NYAA sticks with what they've got, it's going to be a very interesting match. Oh no, there they go. It's 6-man on 6-man.
It's 6-man on 6-man.
They had us in the first half, not going to lie.
And it's the race to the mega pack here. You have to imagine both teams out the gate quickly, and it looks like NYAA is going to get there just before the hack goes in and goes to NYAA here as Gimmick gets the hack off onto the mega pack. So they have mega pack control, but Darkrai picks up the first kill of the night with Origin going down here. Origin a ringer tonight for NYAA. Speedy picks up the second kill here, taking down Gimmick. Sombra versus Sombra matchup taken by Speedy this round. And it looks like Amnesia lines up for the first take, and one by one the target falls for NYAA.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing for me. So even though NYAA got that mega control, they gave up that rune really quickly, and they got their Lucio picked early, so they didn't have the speed to rotate back to point, and ended up going in favor of an Amnesia for this one.
Amnesia right now in control here, despite losing that mega pack here. So the control of that will still go over to NYAA. The hack looking for both teams looking to set up their Sombra here for the hack. Hack out onto the Reaper here as Akua picks off Rom. Coalescence now invested from Capital here to build the momentum for Amnesia, and that's a lot of momentum as Capital burns their way through NYAA, sending them back to the spawn zone. Oh, but he gets greedy.
Yeah, he gets a little greedy, gets a little staggered, but that stagger on Vamp will make him come back to point probably at about the same time. Amnesia's just putting on a clinic in 6-man here. They've got all of their ults up, or they've used their ults, whereas NYAA is really only coming up on 2.5, 3 at this fight.
We look to Speedy right now for that EMP to be the one to set the tone here. In position right now, expecting it coming in very shortly, and there it is, and it's a huge one, followed up by Akua with the Death Blossom, and that is 3 for Akua, and that is all it's going to take for Amnesia to secure this one, moving it to 60% and counting.
Yeah, Amnesia definitely looking in full control this map, although I do wonder at their decision to use both the Reaper ult and the bomb with the EMP. Usually only one of those needs to be used in order to win the fight. That said, NYAA is coming with an EMP Blossom of their own, so we'll see if they're able to pull it off and maybe get a point flip in here.
And Gimmick right now setting up right behind LCS. Little cheeky positioning there for Gimmick, trying to find LCS to keep the sound barrier from coming in. EMP is in, it catches LCS, no sound barrier now for Amnesia, and here comes the Death Blossom into the meat grinder, goes Amnesia as Tayo spins to win, taking down Speedy, and finally NYAA gets some momentum here, and they take down Amnesia, they get their first take, but Amnesia looks to bring it to 99%, so the last fight here for NYAA.
Yeah, and a little bit of a late stagger coming in here, bringing it all the way to 99%, but NYAA that point flip in. NYAA has some pretty big ults coming up here, though, to just having the beat on the side of Amnesia, so it'll be interesting to see whether Amnesia is able to use that to their advantage in this fight.
Amnesia sound barrier here in play, very critical, but the NYAA with several ultimates in the bank definitely favored coming into the fight. Hacks trying to come out from the Sombra players, not finding anything. Darkrai very low right now. The follow-up isn't there for NYAA. Here comes the sound barrier from LCS as Amnesia looks to aggress onto Grom, and they take him down with Akua picking up the kill at the very end there. Here comes a big bomb taken out of play by the shield from Darkrai. Spin to win from Akua, not finding any kills there as it's negated completely by Vamp. But the kills right now, it's all blue in that kill feed, and that means Amnesia is in line here to secure downtown.
Yeah, Amnesia definitely flipped that point around. It looked like NYAA was going to be in a position to hold on to that for one more fight, but Amnesia used their ults very smart. They played that really patient, and in the end, they were able to take the cap on this first point.
1-0.
And that was a fantastic match, or fantastic hold there for Amnesia, picking up that first point of the matchup. We go now NYAA looking to come back here on Shrine. Or, I'm sorry. I always get the name of this one wrong. Sanctuary, pardon me. Or is it Shrine? I don't actually know.
It's Sanctuary.
It's Sanctuary?
It's Sanctuary. It's Shrine when it's Nepal?
I'm saving my Overwatch play for Overwatch 2 right now, so I am so out of the loop. It feels like it's not just that I'm extraordinarily tired, I promise. But NYAA gonna have to answer back here on this map. They're coming out with the ball and looks like Ball Tracer more than likely in play, and we see Ball Tracer from both teams. They are mirroring each other once again, so mirror composition right now, the Ball Tracer with the Sigma composition as well. This composition it's one of those comps that once you really master it, it can basically be used in every map. And here goes Amnesia right now. It's basically the battle to see who's kind of figured out this very complicated composition.
Definitely, and we see that both teams are kind of in a poking staging phase right now, just trying to see where the other team's setting up and seeing who can get advantage first.
And the advantage initially will go to Grom, taking down Akua here. Grom finds a second kill on this Wrecking Ball, taking control of the point. And Grom taken very low, but is going to be able to keep themselves alive here. Capital picks up a late kill onto Gimmick, which is going to give Amnesia a little bit of momentum here for a potential retake. But NYAA has a nice kill box set up here, and it looks like they're in control.
Yeah, and getting control on this point is so massive right off the bat. Because it's such a slow and pokey comp, you can see that both teams can play this slower and get a lot of percentage built up, even if it's not a totally one fight.
We see a great advancement from Greninja onto Vamp, taking Vamp down there, and the core of Amnesia pushing into NYAA and taking them down here as Akua looks to pick off a couple more, forced to recall out, but damage done for Amnesia.
Yeah, and Amnesia did get the point flip and is coming up on a couple of big ults. We can see if Akua is able to get the stick off onto NYAA, holding them off for a little bit longer here as we move into this next fight.
Next fight right now, taken very low is Tayo there. So they're going to get top back off right away. And Akua right now rocking that Pulse Bomb, looking for a target here. Sees a Zenyatta and an Ashe, whiffs both, but the Ashe does not walk away from the bomb, unfortunately. Tayo taken down here, but not before taking out Darkrai. And there goes Speedy as well, so 2 down now, 3 down now for Amnesia. And NYAA is going to push to this point right now. There goes LCS and Greninja. And NYAA with the retake, Amnesia at 45%.
And NYAA played that so patiently and so well. They poked him out, they waited for their advantage, they were up by 1, and they were able to press in there and make it work. So we'll see whether they're able to hold it now as Amnesia comes back in full force with a lot of ultimates up.
Amnesia right now is in control. I'm sorry, NYAA, pardon me, is in control as they look to surpass Amnesia here in the count. Bob now in play. Speedy sends Bob to the point to apply some pressure. Amnesia is going to be, NYAA is going to be forced to contest that. Capital gets caught out and forced to Transcendence. Huge play there from Gimmick to bait that out and get that out of play there from Capital, who's forced to use it to stay alive. Greninja right now is pushing in. We got a huge potential lift, but it's going to be immediately negated by Decrypt with a huge Transcendence of their own. And Gimmick right now advances onto Darkrai, and that's going to be another set of kills here as NYAA continues to apply pressure to Amnesia.
That said, Amnesia was able to get the point flip in there basically before the point even started. So all of that time, Amnesia was getting percentage while NYAA was technically winning the fight.
Unfortunate for NYAA. If they held that point that entire time, they'd probably be looking at last fight right now. But instead, they might have 2 fights in them here, will Amnesia, before this one can be closed out. So NYAA right now needing to get a couple of fights underway here, but we do have the Gravitic Flux for Vamp to lead the path here for NYAA to success. Gimmick getting close to that Pulse Bomb as well. Both teams setting up their kill lanes here and trying to get control of the really just it's such an interesting point to guard because there's so many different angles you can take, and it really makes it challenging to kind of stage yourself out for these engagements.
Definitely. We got to pick onto Akua already, though, so Vamp is going to be able to hopefully turn the fight around using his ult in just a second, too.
And here comes a Pulse Bomb in from Gimmick, not connecting with anybody, forces some cooldowns out, and we see Darkrai in with the proximity mines on the point. The lift now in play here from Vamp. Does not really connect with anybody outside of Greninja. Greninja very low, but the kills right now are all in favor of Amnesia as they pick up a couple. Transcendence still going to be invested by Decrypt here to continue to try to hold the point for NYAA, but it's a tough spot right now, down 2 in this fight.
Yeah, lots of ults going back and forth here, but it looks like Amnesia is going to be able to get the point flip again here, and they have a Trans coming into final fight.
It's a tough one for NYAA. Amnesia going to have both support ultimates going into this, with NYAA staring only at the proximity mines, more than likely going into this fight. Tayo very close to getting that Bob up, will likely have it going into this next fight, but NYAA is going to be looking to get set up here and get in fairly quickly. Only 10% left before this one goes to Amnesia, and map 1 goes to Amnesia here. But here we go now, last fight in play, as Grom, very close to the proximity mines, is going to be going in for the touch here very shortly. Somebody's gonna touch. There's the touch. Okay, just making sure. I had a panic. I'm all good now, everybody. All right. Here comes the bash and the rally from LCS. Transcendence as well, and Amnesia just blowing both support ultimates to push hard onto the core of NYAA, and that sends the support line packing as Amnesia now in firm control, and they will take it here on Busan, going up 1-0 in this preseason final.
Yeah, and that was a beautifully played map. Both teams playing very well. Loved seeing that Ball Sigma matchup on map 2. Like, it was so back and forth there for a while, but in the end, Amnesia is able to pull it out and take this first map.
Amnesia in control early here. Big plays like this one, great coordination on the 6-man, enabling that huge Death Blossom from Akua on downtown here. Makes it a 2-0 victory on that map for Amnesia. In control of this matchup here as we get to head to map 2, going to an assault map next. So we've seen, again, there's only 3 assault maps in the pool. It's Temple of Anubis, it's Volskaya, and it's Hanamura. Those are the only 3 options for NYAA here. Again, 6-man, it seemed like Amnesia had the advantage. When we moved to that ball composition, it seemed to open up a little bit for NYAA, definitely a little bit more success, it seemed like. What are you expecting to see something in particular going into this next map with 2CP? Kind of get a variety pack here, compositions depending on the map. Are you kind of expecting anything in particular here as we get ready to go to the next map?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be surprised if we saw them kind of favoring the ball maps and leaning away more from anything that would favor six-man. Grom, as on the main tank on ball, looked really good there. He was building mines really quick, really controlling the field. You can run bomb, but you can run ball on any of the 2CP maps. So it'll be interesting to see which one they end up going with and where we end up going for this next map.
I was certainly impressed as well by the tracer play from both teams. Akua and Gimmick both had some fantastic plays throughout. Gimmick definitely being a menace for that back line for Amnesia. But we're going to be getting ready to go to that 2CP map in a second here. The pick goes to NYAA for this one as well. So teams right now making their decisions. Right now, taking a look at the teams, I do see a couple or one particular. Actually, they have no bench players for NYAA because I believe both King Crimson and Gambit are just coaches. So this one is just straight up 6. What you see in front of you is what you're going to get all night. But if this is any indication of how the action is going to be tonight, it's going to be a very fun one tonight, Beth.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. And it looks like it's 6-man rosters on both teams at this point, which is probably why we're seeing so much good coordination and discipline, right? Because they're not having to learn to work around different DPS, different tanks, different supports. They all just are able to practice together and really build that synergy, which is so needed, especially at this higher tier of play.
And speaking as a Harmony tier gold plat player myself, I can firmly tell you that our hero pools at that level are definitely not as diverse as what you would see at this level of play here. So we see decisions are still being made right now by NYAA with regards to that. Once again, a couple of reminders for everybody tuning in here tonight. This is our preseason finals. We have our season starting up, well, next week. Crazy, right? Before that, we have the Discord tier preseason final tomorrow at 8:30 between Reminiscence and MI7. And then on Monday, we kick it off with the Iris podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern time, hosted by your observer tonight, Bowsy, who will be hosting that, and it'll be your preview for Season 9. So a lot of excitement coming up here. But speaking of exciting, we finally have our map pick, and that map pick is Hanamura.
Yeah, and this is kind of an interesting pick for me, thinking that like NYAA might want to favor the ball comp. You can run ball on here, but I feel like most teams, well, again, speaking from Harmony tier experience, I don't know much about this level of play, but the TP Brawl tends to be one of the more favored attack points, at least on this. It'll be interesting to see whether they go with that or kind of pull something a little bit different out. What do you think is going to happen here, Yeti?
I honestly don't know, because I feel like the Symmetra Brawl is such a standard on this, so that wouldn't necessarily surprise me. But I feel like as you get to these higher levels, double shield tends to be pretty prevalent. I'm not really sure exactly what to expect. Unfortunately, we haven't had the opportunity to see either of these teams really that much so far this season, so we're kind of going into this a bit blind. It's part of the excitement here in this preseason, is we really don't know what to expect from either team. But it's going to stage up here. It looks like NYAA is going to be on the first attack here on Hanamura, with Amnesia setting up their defense as well. Again, no substitutions for either team. What you saw is what you're going to get for the night here for both, running 6-person rosters for this matchup. As we head now into Hanamura, definitely it's a shame because it's such a beautiful map, and it's a shame in many ways it's going to be gone in Overwatch 2, but also good riddance. Screw 2CP.
I mean, I love 2CP sometimes. Sometimes. I don't know. You know when you get a really fast cap on Hanamura or on one of the like maps and it just feels really good? Like, I'm going to miss that a little bit. But that said, it does look like we're having NYAA come out with a teleporter brawl comp. So looks like things between tiers don't change that much. That said, Amnesia on defense is running a Winston, Sigma, Ashe, Pharah, Ana, Mercy. Very, very pokey comp. I'm not entirely sure what they're planning on doing with this. What do you think, Yeti?
I'm not 100% exactly. I'm a little. I mean, the Monkey Sigma is new. I honestly don't know. I'm thrown a little, but hey, you know what? A traditional. We see Akua in very deep here, trying to be disruptive to the Symmetra Brawl, but the teleporter is going to get set up nonetheless, and they will be able to get through. But Akua with a late pick here, and a huge biotic grenade from Capital is going to open things up for Amnesia here. But NYAA is getting set up on the point, and we see that beam now at full spin up. And Tayo right now is going to be able to put out a ton of damage. So if NYAA is able to sustain, Tayo is going to be able to deal enough damage to secure this here. The damage is massive onto Akua as Tayo continues to be an absolute menace on the Symmetra. And Capital gonna pick off Grom here, but the fight seems to very slowly but very surely be going in the favor. Yes, NYAA takes this point in a scrappy yet effective first point.
Yep, when picks are being traded back and forth, it always goes to the attacker, it seems like, on these maps. Capital had that massive nade, not quite enough to bring the fight in, but as we move into second point, we see that Tayo has a wall up, but there's not a whole lot else going on, so we'll see what happens as we move on onto the point here.
We see the Monkey Diva now being utilized here as Greninja swaps off that Sigma over now to the more traditional Diva with this composition. Akua very close to that barrage. We see the teleport in as well as the Symmetra barrier now in place for Tayo here. The ticks start going. 2 ticks now already for NYAA, so we see Amnesia now gonna have to push in, try to get something done. Here comes the barrage, completely negated out by Vamp from NYAA, and the kills are all red right now as NYAA is very firmly in control with all the momentum. Nano boost onto Akua to try to stabilize it out, but they cannot. And a dominant take from NYAA answering back after that rough Busan map here with a 5-minute and 15-second time bank.
It was an absolutely dominant performance by NYAA there. They didn't almost even have to take a fight. They took those points with 5 minutes and 15 seconds left and just completely negated the entire defense of Amnesia almost effortlessly.
It's absolutely crazy. So just for reference here, we consider, of course, there's a 4-minute timer at the start, correct? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a 2-minute and 30-second addition after you cap point A, correct? So that means,
sure.
I think that sounds right. It's either it's okay. Either way, it's impressive because in less than 2 minutes, NYAA secures both points. I don't know. I think they had a total of like 3 or maybe 4 deaths. I don't know, but it was impressive from NYAA getting the job done now. And now we see them giving Amnesia a bit of a taste of their own medicine here coming out now, but it's going to be a ball diva look here with that Pharmercy gimmick on the Pharah. And Amnesia going to also return the favor here and match that Symmetra brawl. Akua now on the Symmetra as Amnesia tries to, well, really play equalizer here now.
Yeah, and it looks like both of these teams sort of have the same strategies going into this, which is interesting. Well, I mean, we've got a bunch of people who are holding back there. Maybe it'll give them a little bit of a jump scare.
A little bit. It's just a moment of, you got to sit here and wonder. It's the moment in ranked where you think, oh my God, they're feeding their brains out right now. But Capital scouts it out, and that's going to mean very, very tough sailing right now for NYAA. We see the slam go in. Capital taken very low and is going to be dropped by Tayo. The ticks are beginning to start on the point here. Contest now in play here from NYAA as they'll start to collapse back to point, but the damage is going to be done here with Capital going down early. NYAA is very firmly in control with Decrypt set up on that high ground, just able to keep the entire team afloat on his own pretty much. And well, it's just a great dominant first fight here from NYAA.
Definitely, and they played that absolutely perfectly. Gave Amnesia almost an entire tick before touching, continued their pokey sort of attack there to give themselves as much advantage as possible on this defense. That was just flawlessly executed by NYAA.
Grom looking absolutely stellar right now on that tank, on that Wrecking Ball all night tonight has been a very, very strong Wrecking Ball so far. Look to see that continuing here as the night goes on. Seeing how they match up here with Darkrai, definitely a strong performance so far from NYAA. Here comes Akua trying to set up the teleporter. They will get the teleporter set up, but they do get a knockback out. The teleporter is destroyed. I can't quite tell if all of Amnesia got through or not. It looks like they did just barely manage to get through. So NYAA now playing defense on this point here, trying to hold out this potentially tough fight. We see Gimmick get the first kill. Akua is down. No Symmetra now, bigger source of damage out of play here. Grom is taken down as the Diva Bomb comes in, does not connect with anything, as Origin is down now as well. With Mercy out of the equation here, that is going to likely mean the end of this fight here. The Nano Boost now in onto Gimmick to try to stabilize out here. We see the barrage now from Gimmick, and they try to catch this one, and they don't. They pay the price for the risky aggression here from Decrypt and Gimmick, and they get absolutely shut down by Greninja here on this Diva. That's 2 ultimates that could have been big here for a retake, and now Amnesia is going in with the advantage to point 2.
Yeah, but that said, NYAA was able to get a really good stagger off onto that point. The nano on the Pharah kept them alive just long enough. Maybe the barrage was a little bit of an overplay, but at the same time, it gave them time for Grom to get back and buy him a little more time.
We see the defense now. We see them, again, pressing away right when that teleporter goes out. Hack trying to get in now from Gimmick, playing on the Sombra now instead of the Pharah. So a different look now from NYAA on this Sombra Tracer now. So a very different look, a lot less damage potential for sure. We see Blizzard now on the points, going to take Vamp down. The kills right now are just all in favor of Amnesia as they answer back with just a thorough and resounding exclamation point of their own. They have 2 minutes after the round down there. But Beth, a really fantastic push for Amnesia here to answer back really nicely.
Honestly, they were able to get NYAA a little bit on their back foot with that strong aggression coming on the TP coast, and they used it to their advantage and were able to cap that with, just a minute under what NYAA was able to do, in spite of the fact that they had a little bit longer of a point A push.
Really great initial hold there from NYAA. Looked to be in very prime position, but got to give credit to Amnesia where it's due. Greninja showed up big time there to negate a lot of damage on that first point, and then just once we got to second point, the momentum was just so firmly in the favor of Amnesia at that point. NYAA sacrificing 2 major ultimates on point A in a last-ditch effort to hold it. Kind of snowballed out of control then, unfortunately for them, once they got to point 2, and then despite their best efforts, Amnesia with a fantastic take. Now 2 minutes in play here with the round down. No more than the lowest has to be 2 minutes or less. You guys know it. It's been the same thing for what now? 3 years? Come on. You guys know it's here we go. 2 CP again, and it's Amnesia now on the attack.
Yep, and NYA was doing a really good job of using that pokey comp to their advantage on the first defense. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to do the same thing here.
And they do. They go right in. Teleporter pad already down. No TP in for the brawl here, but nonetheless, they're going to run right to point. And it looks like maybe Darkrai got through the TP just before it went away. So Darkrai completely alone is very low. Are they going to manage to stabilize and keep them up? That would be an insane amount of healing. No, not able to get them, but Capital takes down the Pharmacy on their own. Capital with the Baptiste. Baptiste, such an effective damage dealer when needed here. Very close to his own, very close to having his own window here to get this thing really going for Amnesia to try to potentially take it. When we see the window pop, and we do, Capital trying to take control here. That's the Tranquility Hall of Famer right there, folks, and a well-earned name as we see that damage coming in from the Baptiste. Capital taking control here on point A.
Yeah, that fight looked so rough for NYAA for Amnesia right at the beginning, getting a Ryan split like that, but Capital, holy smokes, the amount of healing that he was doing and damage as well, he really turned this fight around for them.
Capital did a fantastic job there, but NYAA on the retake, they're looking fantastic. Tayo picking up 2, including the Lucio, taking heals out of the play. We see another Tracer duel taking down Speedy. Tayo with a huge 3K, and NYAA, look at all the ultimates they have for this last push.
Holy cow, that is not something that you want to see if you're Amnesia. Tayo absolutely putting a clinic on how to play Tracer there in this comp as Amnesia comes back with 23 seconds on the clock.
Amnesia 20 seconds left here. They're going to try to push in. They switch over to the Cassidy now. Tayo finds Capital already. Capital out of play. And we see the eat onto Speedy's Pulse Bomb. NYAA just absolutely in control here on point A. A major ultimate taken down. And there's a main source of healing taken down as well. Gimmick in position right now with this barrage, looking to get behind them and get this out. Greninja searching for the barrage, is not able to keep Akua alive. We see the bomb now in from Greninja trying to stabilize out. They get Tayo, losing that source of damage big here for NYAA, but they have so many bodies on the point as Grom swinging through, finding another slam, puts Capital up in the air now on the Moira with the switch, trying to get back to point and keep hopes alive for Amnesia. But right now, NYAA just appears to be prepared to close this thing out as Grom, sound barrier now in. Beth, this is not over here.
No. And it's 2 CP, right? Anything can happen. Anybody can flip at any time.
But the missed Earth Shatter from Darkrai is going to be completely wasted. And that means that NYAA is going to be able to spin back in without any threat here. We see Grom very low, but with the Nano Boost is able to stay alive just long enough there. We see Speedy now with yet another pulse bomb in this fight. Speedy looking to get in there, trying to find a squishy and a big stick, a critical stick that he absolutely needs to get here. Heading for the high ground, but he's going to be taken out. He's going to be taken completely out of play there, but Capital finds Tayo. We see the Tracer down, and the kills are now in Amnesia's favor, and they get the take! They get the take! They get the point! Somehow they manage to get the point, and here we go to point 2. They have 20 seconds left, pushing to the point. They get the presence going immediately here as Grom is spinning down through the point here, but Gimmick is taken down by Capital. And the turn now with the Coalescence. Capital is taking control of this fight and willing Amnesia to this point and willing them to this map win. Here comes Speedy now with another kill onto Origin. Bomb in from Vamp finds Darkrai. This is far from over as the respawns now start to come in for NYAA. Akua now with the Deadeye finds one, taking down Gimmick. And Akua finds 2. This is huge from Amnesia. From Death's Door, they managed to take 2. What an incredible point from Amnesia.
Oh my gosh, but 2 CP respawns. The defenders are going to be coming back, trickling in here. If they can get a couple of key picks, they could still have this, but it looks like it's firmly in Amnesia's favor at this point.
My goodness, what an incredible series of clutch plays from Amnesia. And it looks like NYAA right now just on that trickle game, trying to keep it alive. The self-destruct is in play. Gets a DMAC out. Beth, I am just completely spent. I am
pretty sure every person has gotten their ult 3 or 4 times this fight. It's been going on for a good couple of minutes. Every time it looks like Amnesia's got it, NYAA pulls it back, but it looks like we might be getting to the point where Amnesia finally caps it. There we go. And Amnesia caps it with 0 seconds on the clock, multiple minutes of play. Oh my gosh, Yeti, is your voice okay?
No, I am not okay. I am not okay. None of us are okay for having to see that. That was insane. That was wild.
These were just so incredibly scrappy.
Oh
Nobody was ever
gosh.
willing to be like, okay, let's reset. They're like, no, we're in this fight. We can take it. It was just knock down, drag out the entire time. That was some fun Overwatch.
I am sweaty. I probably woke up my children. I probably upset the neighbors, but I do not care. And my wife just texted me going, "Is everything okay?" I have to say, I don't know if I am okay, but that was one incredible series in 2CP. And by the way, that's all going away in Overwatch 2, and I'm still okay with it.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm still okay with it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Everybody's okay with it.
And it looks like Amnesia is pulling out a little bit of a different look here on defense. They're starting out on the Diva instead of, I think they had, a Sigma last time or something? So looking like they're looking a little bit more divey to start off. We'll see if they're able to hold NYAA back from that absolutely dominant attack that they had in the first round of play.
Defend objective A.
I'm still recovering. I'm sorry.
All right, I can PvP for a while.
Here we go. No, we're back. We're back. The Death Teleporter in play. NYAA gets to point quickly here. It looks like everybody got through as they push the point while all on fire. Speedy almost halfway to Bob already, and Darkrai takes down Origin. What a biotic grenade. Oh my god, Capital turns everybody purple. My goodness. It's over. That fight was over before it began.
Yeah, but that said, NYAA, in finishing that fight quickly, is able to reset, come back his 6, and see what they're able to do. It's still 2.5 minutes on the clock.
It's a long time here for NYAA. You got to wonder if their mental is held up after that really tough loss here on that point. My goodness, that is a tough one to take. But they come back now, Amnesia with a really strong defense, very close to that Bob. Decrypt as well, very close to that amplification matrix. So those are going to be the critical ults to keep an eye out for right now. We see Speedy trying to build up to that ultimate here, Beth. This is a big fight right now for NYAA.
Definitely, and you can see that the team are playing this perfectly right now. You've got the Brawl on point, the poke going out. Lots of ults coming out here.
And we see the stick onto the shield there from Akua, not finding anything. Decrypt gets the Bob out of play here. We see kills now for both with Braum down for NYAA. So that is their main tank now out of play. So NYAA is going to have to come in here with a different look. And here comes the Nano Boost onto Greninja, but they will be immediately frozen out and completely neutralized here by Gimmick. Nano Boost now out of play as Gimmick doing work here on the main.
They're able to get out with their lives, though, and it looks like even though NYAA has taken a tick, the Amnesia is still sort of staggering in and trying to make this fight go on even longer.
What a fantastic fight here right now for NYAA. Despite losing their main tank early, they do manage to stay in control here. They play patiently, they find the kills they needed, and NYAA is in control. They will take this one, have a minute 30 on the clock here with Symmetra Barrier. They're going to basically have 6 ultimates here in this fight, Beth. This is a great opportunity for them to answer back against Amnesia.
Definitely, and we can see them.
Kill.
Oh, no!
Oh, and we have a pause.
Was there like a DC?
I think we probably have a DC here, I would have to imagine. And a pause now in play for, I'm not really sure who DC'd, but I guess we'll find out in just a moment. But Beth, my goodness, 2CP, very exciting tonight here so far. I was definitely taken back by the performance there by Amnesia. It looked like all was lost. Once it hit overtime on that first point, I thought it was over. But, I mean, I think in that situation, I feel like, you know, I hate saying it's just one player in a 6-on-6 game. I hate saying it's one player, but I just got to give credit to Capital. Like, he made that Moira switch. He switched over. He got back to the point quickly, was able to ton of heals, a ton of output overall, just pure numbers output that you get from Moira. That healing and that damage is so big. Able to keep the team sustained long enough to get those picks, that coalescence on point 2, able to get the momentum going. It's just everything you needed there, Beth.
Honestly, though, and supports can sometimes be a little bit harder to pay attention to. You know, they're usually healing up the rest of the team, facilitating the rest of the team. But yeah, I have to give it to Capital too. Like you said, that big switch, the big amplification matrix that he used, like solely for himself to heal his teammates and do damage. And then even on the first point their first point defense, hitting that big purple on NYAA and basically just winning the fight for Amnesia right off the bat and burning some more time off the clock.
You know, I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was going to say, it's going to be fun to see what happens in this fight coming up here. Based on what I saw before we flash out, it looks like one of the NYAA players was down. I didn't see exactly which one, but that is coming with LCS having just been eliminated too. So it'll be a 5-on-5 back.
It was Decrypt out. I believe Decrypt had the ultimate on hand as well, and that's an unfortunate one to lose for sure with Decrypt out, or very close, I should say, to the amplification matrix. Taking a look here at the live stream, coming back off a delay. So they do come out of play. We are back now in as Amnesia, or we see Speedy being chased down here by Vamp. Sound Barrier now invested from Origin to keep NYAA up on this point. We see the first kills now coming in. We see the self-destruct now from Greninja trying to buy some time, but it's not going to be enough. We see Blizzard on the point isn't going to catch anybody there. Gimmick is taken down by Akua, however, and a big Earth Shatter from Grom is going to take down a couple there from Amnesia, but now Amnesia turning it around here. Capital on the Lucio here. A bit of a turnaround here. If you look at Amnesia, it's LCS on the bat. Capital, what? Are you confused? Because I'm confused.
I mean, NYAA still has the ability to take a fight here, but Amnesia is just showing so much mental fortitude to come into these fights a man down, to be able to take these fights like this and still be able to pull it out. It's been really incredible to watch.
Really has been. LCS gets the pick onto Vamp, so now very, very delayed there with that stagger out on the Vamp. It's going to be tough for NYAA to get back into play and get a really solid fight here. 10 seconds left on the clock. NYAA running right up the gut here. Teleporter going on to point. The stick is in, but it's going to be completely neutralized out here. And we see the Immortality Field also taken out from Decrypt, but Decrypt goes down. Akua finding another kill. Akua on the Genji looking to take down the Gimmick there. And we see Greninja find Grom. A couple kills now going in NYAA's favor, so it's not over yet. NYAA trying to will this one through, but Tayo taken down now as well. Symmetra out of play here. This is tough sailing for NYAA. Losing a major source of damage here. Window now from LCS on the Baptiste trying to match their support line partner here. The Speedy now in on the Doomfist is going to get a kill onto Origin. And that does mean that Amnesia appears to be in control enough here to maybe take this one down. And the big stick onto Gimmick from Akua, putting on a clinic on the Tracer here and getting in control as Amnesia somehow, some way, will find a way to take Hanamura and go up 2-0 in this match.
If you'd asked me at the beginning of this, after that quick take by NYAA, that Amnesia was going to win this, I wouldn't have believed you. But great plays coming in from both sides. We got to play of the game here from Grom. Honestly, just excellent play coming out from both teams on this point.
It has been. It's been really fantastic to watch. Really incredible clutch play from both teams at different times here. Grom on that tank has been beyond a difference maker for NYAA tonight, really helping even things out throughout the night. But again, it's just been the clutch performances here from Amnesia over and over again. A lot of that comes from their support line, Capital and LCS doing fantastic work, but Akua also cannot be understated the effort that they've been putting in on DPS. Their Tracer has been outstanding. We saw the Pharah in play on that map too. Really, really strong play from their DPS so far here tonight.
Yeah, and I know I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. The amount of mental fortitude that Amnesia has to have and to come back from losing that quickly on Hanamura defense and then bring it around, go into these knockdown, drag out fights, lose quickly, but then come back and hold it just as well. Like the amount of strong mental fortitude that they have to have in order to do that.
Yep.
Can't say enough about that.
This is a huge map right now for NYAA. You're down 2-0 at a first to 4. There's a big difference going down 3-0 before being in a 2-1 going into halftime here. Halftime after map 3. We go to hybrid right now, and the map choice, it appears, is going to be Hollywood for NYAA. So going to another kind of common double shield, wrecking ball type map. Seems to be playing in that NYAA favor, as they definitely seem to be enjoying getting Grom onto that wrecking ball.
Yeah, and I think that's a good idea. Anytime you can get Grom onto wrecking ball, it seems like that's where he really shines. So hopefully we can see some more of that as we come into this point. But what are you looking forward to seeing on here, Yeti? What are your thoughts?
Not double OT. What do I
We live for this, Yeti. We live for this.
Exactly. We do. We've been doing this for a while. No, in all seriousness, I do expect to see, I expect to see NYAA bring out that ball composition. It's been working really well for them. They've been really strong and competitive on it. I would like to see them continue to go down that route, enable getting Tayo on that Tracer. Tayo has been looking really good tonight. I want to see them continue to get out there and do the work on that. Gimmick has, really the DPS in this game has been outstanding. It's, NYAA being down 2-0, it's been really close for them in all these maps, though. NYAA keeping it very competitive right now. So despite being down 2-0, I would not be shocked to see NYAA. I mean, this is the kind of situation where NYAA, I feel like, could theoretically come back and win this thing 4-2, and it would not necessarily surprise me.
No, both of these teams have been incredibly evenly matched all night. Amnesia just getting the barest edge on the point 2 of Busan and now on Hanamura. We'll lose for a really good night of Overwatch, so I'm looking forward to seeing what both teams bring to the map here on Hollywood.
Absolutely. It's been really good so far tonight. I expect to see more in kind coming in between these two teams in Hollywood. Again, we are sitting at 2-0 right now on this one, going to Hollywood. NYAA is going to start out again on the attack, try to set the tone, set the momentum, and the time bank, just like they did last time around here for NYAA. Again, now on Hollywood. So Hollywood, the map pool for this preseason tournament, Hollywood was one of the 3 options. They also had the choice between the other 2 maps in the pool, were Numbani and Blizzard World for the other 2 options. So they went with this Hollywood map, taking Numbani, which is pretty common 6-man map. Taking Numbani out of the fold, you got to figure that makes sense for NYAA here, given that they were definitely behind in a 6-man. It seemed like this choice here from NYAA.
Yeah, and we see both teams wanting to run this like pokey Tracer ball comp. Obviously NYAA has the Hanzo, whereas Amnesia has the Ashe, but both of these teams are probably going to want to play this similar to how they played Busan second. Very pokey, very slow, setting up their engages, and that'll play to both of these teams' strengths. So it'll be really interesting to see where they decide to go with it.
And definitely looking to see the ball composition now from NYAA on attack, ball composition on defense from Amnesia. Looking at small differences in DPS though, and tank. So mixing it up just a little bit. We're going to see similarities from both teams though. Looking to see what NYAA can do here with this slightly more mobile composition. That's a pick. The danger of Hanzo right there. He can just get a pick and turn a fight immediately. And Tayo on this Hanzo finds Speedy, takes him out of the fight immediately. And Amnesia now in control. I'm sorry, NYAA in control.
And NYAA isn't pushing this too hard. They're using this to take their high ground advantages, but Tayo gets picked off by Capital, and now it's an even fight.
Tayo picks off Capital. Capital. Oh my God! Capital finds another one. Capital.
Man's a menace.
Jesus, Capital. Just calm down a little bit, buddy.
You're not a DPS. You're a support.
Just calm down. You are not
Capital
a DPS.
with the 3K, looking for the 4K.
Capital right now is the winner of the first and only award for the most offensive oriented support in season 3 of Tranquility, and we're seeing it right there with Capital on the Zenyatta coming out looking fantastic here in this matchup so far. We look to see now what NYAA can do. The Gimmick looking to get into position to possibly make Capital's day a little bit worse here. And we see Vamp right now exchanging some blows with, oh my God, Capital.
Somebody stop him!
What is going on? Capital
That early pick by Capital is going to send NYAA back to the spawn room to reset here.
I can't. I just can't right now, Beth. I just can't. Somebody needs to stop him and get him under control. This is absolutely insane. Capital up to the Transcendence now, trying to deal with Grom in the back line, and Tayo does pick off Darkrai, and here comes the Dragon Strike as well from Tayo. So now some momentum here for NYAA as we see Grom find Speedy as well. So 2 down now for Amnesia. It's been kind of a Capital deadlift so far for Amnesia here. But he's not there to really keep this one going for that. But never mind. Never mind. He's there now. And here comes 2 kills for Amnesia as Akua finds 2. And that's the support line now down for NYAA. The stick in for Akua. And that's a 3K for Akua. And Amnesia, they give up 2, but nonetheless, they're still holding on here with a minute 40.
Yeah, NYAA decided Capital's our biggest threat. We don't need to kill him. We just need to distract him long enough for Tayo to put in some work. So, and we've got another pause here. It looks like as somebody else DCs from NYAA.
Yep, it looks like we just lost Tayo there from NYAA. They get that disconnect. We are working on getting them back into play here right now. Amnesia holding 1:33 seconds on the clock right now as it sits on this NYAA attack. NYAA has 2 ticks in the bank. But Amnesia holding strong so far.
NYAA is coming up on a lot of ults, though. Amnesia has lift up, almost to rally, almost to bobble. NYAA has 5 ults in the bank. Granted, they're down Tayo's, but at the same time, like 5 ults in the bank on attack, you can use those strategically and take 1 tick pretty easily. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
NYAA has a big opportunity here. Really, if you're Amnesia right now, you're feeling pretty confident. You're sitting really pretty. You got ultimates of your own. You got the lift. You got the rally on route as well. You got Bob coming in from Speedy. And really, right now, you just have Capital lobbing right clicks down the shooting lane, and it seems to be working well enough. So we see Tayo now coming back in on the Hanzo. And really, Hanzo, again, we talk about the threat that Hanzo brings. It's just the pick potential is so crazy.
Honestly, though, and we've seen that proven time and time again as he's been on this character getting pick after pick.
He has been. He's picked off quite a few so far, looking for another, but Akua is going to take Decrypt out of the equation here. Akua on the Tracer being a menace right now for that NYAA backline, and Greninja is in control of this high ground here, keeping everybody on the support line calm, or really healthy and chilled out, despite Grom kind of being a menace right now for them. The restabilization right now for NYAA, trying to get settled in, really just kind of trading, but here comes the rally.
Yeah, and even though NYAA was playing that beautifully patiently, it looks like it gave Amnesia time to build up ults, which they're now able to use here.
Here comes several ultimates right now. Bob in play. We see both support ultimates from NYAA as well. Decrypt right now in a duel with Akua, trying to stay in, and yet another pause. Here we go with one more pause again. Unclear who is AF or who has disconnected again. but we seem to be cursed in this map here tonight.
It's not enough for Capital to pick everybody off of Zenyatta. He's got to throw the DDoS in there too.
Right.
So.
The NYAA DCs have been unfortunate, but this one is Darkrai for Amnesia, actually. So losing their main tank on this point is actually really impactful right now for Amnesia. It's a really unfortunate loss for them here on this point to see their main tank go down. They don't have any ultimates coming back, and NYAA still has both tank ultimates in hand, but they did just lose Decrypt in this fight. So this last fight, both tank ultimates, one support for NYAA, but Amnesia has not a whole lot in the bank. They're just leaning on everybody, and they just lost their main tank.
Yeah, that said, their main tank is on Wrecking Ball. He'll be able to come back from spawn pretty quickly, but without that sustained pick potential and disruption potential that the Wrecking Ball can bring, I wouldn't be surprised if NYAA is able to turn it around here and take this point.
Mm-hmm. And it's definitely a tough situation here for Amnesia to come back without their main tank on this point. They were playing Wrecking Ball, so they will be back fairly quickly, but at the same time, it is a brutal step here for Amnesia to have to deal with it, and they're working on getting them back in right now. I think, they're still trying to get them back in. I think we are going to take maybe a 30-second pause here for everybody to catch their breath. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few seconds. And welcome back, everybody. Back into the action here. Darkrai back in play. We see the Mine taking Akua out here. The kills start coming in now. We see self-destruct from Vamp. Going to zone out the point a little bit here as Grom right now settling in on the Wrecking Ball. Vamp onto the high ground here, trying to be a menace. But Greninja finds two. And that is going to set up Amnesia here for a potential full hold. We see Vamp trying to get out. Will they be able to escape? No, they will lose their mech. And we see now Capital is just going to push in and lead the charge here for Amnesia. We see the Wrecking Ball back by the point. They're going to get overtime ticking here for NYAA. And here they come to try to get back in. Slam now in. We see Grom taken down, however. And the Transcendence is in for Capital. And a fitting end here for Amnesia, holding this one to 88%. A fantastic hold from Amnesia.
And I can say I certainly didn't anticipate it going that way. I was thinking that with NYAA NYAA and Amnesia being even, Amnesia being down tank, that this was going to be a pretty easy take from NYAA. But honestly, Amnesia, they gave a little bit of point presence. They played patiently, and Greninja came out of nowhere. I feel like we haven't said his name almost at all tonight, but he played the Sigma just about perfectly, got some key picks when they were needed, and was able to hold that fight for Amnesia.
It was huge plays overall there from Greninja at the very end. They were down, I think, in that fight 4-6 or 3-6. So just seeing that was very impressive. From Greninja there to try to will that one back for Amnesia. Again, 88%. Still holdable, still winnable if you're NYAA, but if you're Amnesia, you got to feel real good about your chances right now.
Definitely. And Amnesia looks like they're baiting us a little bit with the comp, so I'm not going to acknowledge that. But NYAA is running basically exactly what Amnesia was running on defense. Actually, they're running exactly what Amnesia was on defense.
I know what's happening in that VC right now. You have Akua's messing around on the Bastion. But you have Greninja sitting there going, just please let me play Hog. I'm not going to throw, I promise. Just let me play Hog, man. Bro, I just want to play Hog. Just can we please play Hog? And now he switches to the Diva because we're not allowed to have fun. Come on, guys. We can't have that. Back to the Ball Diva composition and the Ball Tracer. Amnesia coming out on standard ball composition here. NYAA with a fairly standard ball comp as well.
Oh no, and they scouted out Grom.
They scouted out Grom. My goodness, man. That is unfortunate. Oh, but Capital taken down. That is actually going to even this out because Grom is going to be back fairly quick here. and it's going to be hard for them to engage in without that Discord orb to be put in. But nonetheless, Amnesia is going to go ahead and push the point anyways, despite being without that Discord orb. And one of their supports there with Capital out of the equation. And it looks like they're going to pay the price. Another support take it down. So Amnesia trying to force with that 5v5, but down to support, may regret that.
That said, even though Amnesia didn't end up losing the fight, they're going to be coming back pretty quick, and they got a little bit of a late pick on Gimmick. It'll be interesting to see if they decide to take this fight kind of in the same way, whether they decide to try to clear out that high ground or just wait for a pick from Speedy in order to engage, or a pick, hack from Speedy in order to engage.
We see everybody back in play here, all 6 back in. Really the first 6-person fight for both teams coming out now, and we see them pushing to the high ground here, trying to displace out Vamp, who has to relent with that Discord orb on them after all their defensive cooldowns are down. Speedy right now applying some point pressure. They will find Tayo here. Capital with yet another volley of right clicks is going to take down Tayo here, and continuing to lob in those right clicks like a mad lad that he is. And here we go, Greninja finds one there, and that is just fantastic off-tank play here. Absolutely applying a ton of pressure from Greninja onto NYAA, and that's 4, now 5 kills from Amnesia taking control here. The point is ticking up 70%. It's basically over here, and Amnesia goes now up 3-0 after the Hollywood map win.
Yeah, and you really have to commend Amnesia for their play. They're playing very patient, very coordinated. Their target focus is impeccable. They're just putting on a clinic on how to run these ball comps.
Amnesia very much in control here. Capital picking up the play of the game as one would probably expect, given how that one was going here. What a great Q press right there. I am blown away. Yeah, you know, but you know,
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like that's what they pick after everything else we saw that map. They could have picked the DCs. They could have picked so many different things, but they picked that. Come on, man. That's not a very cool play. We have a lot more cool plays coming up here after halftime. Amnesia up 3-0. We're going to be back in 10 minutes. Stay tuned. More Tranquility Gaming coming up just around the corner. Welcome back, everybody, here to this Tranquility Gaming preseason championship match between Amnesia and NYAA in the Transcendence tier. Again, I'm Mr. Getty, joined by Beth. Beth, we're staring at a 3-0 for Amnesia after a fairly dominant Hollywood. NYAA is going to need to come up with an answer, and they need it now. They need to rally back from a big deficit. Beth, you know something about coming back from big deficits in championship matches.
It's true, and it's a good thing to point out that it can happen. This has been, even though Amnesia is up 3-0 on maps, it has been a really close series, and there have been several times where it looks like NYAA is going to take it, just for Amnesia to come back and make those scrappy plays that they need to pull it out. That said, halftime is a mental reset. Maybe NYAA was able to get their mental back online. Maybe Amnesia cools off a bit. It'll be interesting to see what happens as we move on to Havana.
Right now we are off to Havana once again here. Amnesia, NYAA. Amnesia sitting up 3-0. So NYAA with another map pick. Again, a map that tends to favor that wrecking ball strategy or even a double shield strategy. We really haven't seen any team pull out the Orisa here whatsoever so far as we go to this map. But I feel like you can kind of run a lot of different things, especially on that first point. You can run some of those long-range hit scans. I expect to see the Ash out from both Tayo and Speedy here. They've both been pulling out that Ash quite a bit, and I would kind of expect to see them both do it again.
I would love to see some long-range hit scan, whether that's an Ash or even a pick. A little bit of a different look from these teams. And we saw on NYAA, I think it was it Vamp who was on the Hanzo getting a lot of like early picks. It'd be interesting to see whether NYAA is just able to get run those picky long range comps a little bit better than Amnesia as we move into this map.
And right now we head off to, again, Havana here, not Hanamura again. I don't know if I can handle that emotionally. But we see the Widowmaker in play now from Tayo. Double sniper now from NYAA with the Winston and Orisa. I can't imagine they're going to stay on that tank composition, but here we are nonetheless. Amnesia coming out with, well, they're coming out with the close hold. We get this every now and then on Havana, the little wrinkle they can put into play here, and they're kind of leaning in to Speedy. Very effective on this May historically here in Tranquility. Leaning into that and going to push in LCS on that Lucio. Again, a lot of people in their comfort picks here. Speedy just going to run right up to the door and immediately apply pressure here. Taking a look, Grom and Vamp now are on the Roadhog and the Reinhardt here. I was caught off guard by that, but nonetheless, here we are as we're trying to we're having a little bit of problem viewing the feed right now, everybody. I do apologize, but it looks like Akua finds a couple there and takes that one down.
Yeah, it looks like NYAA was able to scout out the close hold and switch up their comp, but that Amnesia just played that so perfectly. But we see as we're coming into the next fight here, it looks like neither team has any ultimates up, so it should be another dry fight here. But an early pick by Akua, a couple of early picks.
Finds a couple more there. Akua getting very aggressive there, fanning the hammer into the face of Grom. Grom takes down Darkrai, so now no main tank here for Amnesia. You got to figure they'll probably give up a little bit of space now, not having the Reinhardt, or are they going to stick this out? They might just try to go for it here, riding the back of Greninja and this positive momentum it has, and it looks like, yeah, they're just going to keep sticking it out.
Now the Brawl comp is at a little bit more of a disadvantage on those long fights, so I do wonder if they're just going to hold it out, but it looks like they are giving some space and backing up now that NYAA is pressing their advantage.
Both teams with the amplification matrices up. It's Decrypt versus Capital here with the Baptiste play. Greninja takes Vamp out of the mech here as the Deadeye in from Akua. We see, oh my goodness here, Earthshatter from Grom completely negated, and Akua finds 3 more, and Amnesia still in control.
That was a major pop-off by Akua and Greninja, I feel like, on that last hold. Didn't get a lot of value off of his high noon, but then Akua just manages to headshot basically everyone else, making it so Amnesia is able to maintain this close hold on NYAA.
Here we go. Speedy finds another kill onto Grom. Close hold remains underway, but we do lose the May. Oh, what a fantastic Earthshatter from Darkrai there. We talked a lot about Grom tonight, but Darkrai finally answers back and takes down the entirety of NYAA with a single blow of the hammer. And that is going to put NYAA firmly on their heels here, with Greninja now looking at an ultimate of their own. We see a huge lift putting 5 into the air there. It looks like Amplification Matrix now in from Capital as well. Tayo finds LCS, so no LCS now in play here. Tayo taken down as well. But some sustain now off the field for Amnesia. Deadeye, though, for Akua. They're going to try to shoot it out. They find Gimmick, but they will be dropped by Gimmick in return. Eye for an eye from both teams there. And we see the pressure now from NYAA as they do finally push through. And they will get to push away from this spawn and finally start getting some progress, point A.
Definitely. Both teams seem to be pretty evenly matched that fight, but on first point of attack on Havana, switching out or staggering out fights, switching off kills is always going to be at the advantage of the attackers. So it looks like NYAA are going to be holding up here and maybe have a chance to push this thing in.
Here we go, what an Earth Shatter again from Darkrai. Sound barrier now from LCS and the Blizzard from Speedy. We see a self-destruct from Vamp trying to buy some space here for NYAA. No kills despite all those investments. Finally 2 kills trade out here with Gimmick and Darkrai biting the dust. And we see the damage still coming in right now for NYAA as they try to stabilize out here. We see a great amplification matrix used there from Decrypt. Greninja still getting aggressive here with this lift. They will manage to force out the sound barrier from Origin. The fight is ongoing here as Greninja is taken very low, is being forced back. Darkrai also very low. And NYAA finally appears to be in control enough to take this point.
Yeah, Greninja able to get that last one pick onto Baptiste, making it look like Amnesia was going to still be in the fight. But Tayo putting an absolute clinic on as McCree, able to get, Cassidy, able to get multiple picks on that fight and really just turn it around for NYAA.
NYAA right now is in control of the cart. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock here as both teams staging here for the first fight in the distillery here in Havana. But Greninja takes down Gimmick here. Dueling Deadeyes right now. Tayo is dropped by the charge here from Darkrai, and that's going to put Amnesia back in control here as they push through point B and start to take down NYAA here with 2 minutes on the clock.
Takes a lot of faith in your teammates to charge an ulting Cassidy there, but Darkrai is able to pull it off, take down Tayo without getting any value on his ult. We do see that Grom has the Earth Shatter up, coming back here to Amnesia having the Window Shatter, Lift, and Beat. So we'll see if NYAA is able to use this to their advantage as we come into probably what might be second to the last fight in this map.
Right, you got to figure they know what's going to happen with these ultimates here. I'll be curious to see if they try to aggress with this Earth Shatter nonetheless. They try to get aggressive here. They do get the wall in on Darkrai, who charges to try to break it up, and they will. Darkrai is dropped, however, but Capital finds 3. Capital with another 3, looking for a 4th here as they continue to try to keep Greninja up as well. Capital on the Baptiste is a secret weapon here for Amnesia.
And can't say enough about how Capital's target focus was in that fight. He took out both of the healers first, essentially making NYAA unable to take a sustained fight. And Amnesia didn't even use that many ults in that fight. They're coming up on 4 as we come into last fight.
And right now, NYAA will have 4 ultimates here. A good dry fight if you're in their shoes here, but it could be answered by Amnesia. We see the big Flame Strike go through, not able to connect with anybody beyond Grom. Barrier down for Grom here. The Deadeye now in for both teams. A huge boop from LCS is going to make Origin, but they don't take the shot. Akua gets greedy, looking for more kills. Not able to find anybody. Missed a free opportunity, taking down a support. We see an Earth Shatter now from Darkrai to try to neutralize out the Blizzard and pay the price for it. We see ultimates now being exchanged from both teams here. Sound Barrier in from Origin as kills are being traded through as Origin leads the charge, trying to take Greninja down, but Greninja able to stabilize. They try to ultimate, but they get killed. Mid ultimate here. Amplification Matrix now for Capital as they start putting out the damage here on the Baptiste, but they will be dropped by Decrypt, answering back with 2 kills of their own. And NYAA right now getting some card progression going. They have 4 seconds left, so we will see overtime Overwatch here.
Yeah, and Greninja, it would have been nice to have that ult for last fight coming up here, but it looks like Akua has the High Noon, which is also a good point clearing ult if they're going in for last touch. And Akua's in the back line right now.
Akua is in real deep right now, folks, in real deep, and they know he's back there. So despite that Deadeye being in play, you got to figure they probably aren't going to get a great opportunity to use it as a surprise here. There's the Deadeye now from Akua, not able to get anything out here, immediately neutralized out by the Diva. We see Akua being taken down, but that distraction buys time here for Amnesia to come in. A couple kills now for Tayo, taking down 2, including Speedy there, but a big Earth Shatter from Darkrai trying to stabilize this for Amnesia. Greninja and Capital find kills, both DPS down. This could go any way, Beth.
Yeah, definitely
Capital
could.
again.
We've got him. Capital, never mind, is on a tear. It can't
my
go either
God.
way. Amnesia wins the fight.
That was so clearly in NYAA's favor, but it just got turned around by, again, the support play from Capital. I mean, LCS has been incredible too, but Capital just, again, came through in such a clutch moment there, finding a few kills, getting the amplification matrix out. You can't say enough right now. That Baptiste has been just absolutely stellar right now tonight.
Absolutely. Capital is using his aggression when he needs to. He's keeping his team healed. He's able to get those ults generated really quickly. Honestly, there have been some fights where he has basically single-handedly turned it around. Both of these teams are honestly very evenly matched across the board. Amnesia just seems to be getting those hero plays, those one-on-ones just a little bit more often than NYAA, and it's helping them to pull ahead here in these maps.
Absolutely here. We're moving now to offensive for Amnesia. They'll have an opportunity to close this thing out, take the preseason championship in a sweep over NYAA. Now, the opportunity is here for them to do so. They have a great chance with great defense. And it looks like NYAA, they're getting sneaky. And they gotta give, well, you can't sneak on a diva. They could probably sneak now. This is all so silly right now, guys. This is just...
I mean, you can sneak on a diva. It's just your teammates have to push you.
Yeah,
which is humiliating and happens to me every time, but you know.
Right. Come on, Tayo, you can do it. She's not, come on, it's not that heavy. Come on. Cassidy, you have like machines for arms. Come on, man. Anyways,
and this close hold will definitely help NYAA burn some time as they try to do a full defense here.
We see an Orisa for the first time tonight, double shield in play for Amnesia with the Genji, I'm sorry, not the Genji, the Hanzo Tracer, and now Doomfist in play here for Speedy, getting on the Doom. LCS dropped immediately there by Grom, but answer back here, Decrypt is taken down as well, losing that main source of healing for NYAA. Now both healers down as Capital again, just Capital.
Darkrai with the cleanup on the Orisa too. Honestly, originally watching it, I just assumed that Capital was going to be on the bat, but no, with him on the Zen, he's able to do that flanky route, get a lot of damage off, and it looks like NYAA is having to do a hard reset here in order to even get a second, or in order to get that second fight on this map.
NYAA coming out with a full compositional switch. This could be a tough decision for them at this point. They are way behind in ultimates, obviously, as you would expect here. Tayo on the Widowmaker, though, so we will be potentially seeing some picks here as they're going to be looking to position themselves for a pick. Ideally, you got to imagine they're looking for those supports here. LCS and Capital try to get them taken off the field. We see Speedy taken down here early. Akua being a menace right now for Tayo, takes down Tayo, but the aggression has been done here from Akua, and we see them pacing around looking for the stick. They find it. Oh my God! Akua with the 3K, taking down both supports, and despite a pretty clear advantage there for NYAA, that disappeared real quick.
That was an absolutely massive play by Akua. Amnesia was down both of their supports. It looked like that fight was going to go in NYAA's favor, but that huge 3K pulse bomb cleaned up the fight and made it so they can cap point one. They have 4 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, and Capital gets an early pick.
Oh no, Capital with a kill on the Tayo, and there's Speedy with a kill on the Gimmick.
No.
Amnesia just starting to rally together these kills. There's not going to be an early contest here. You got to figure with so many down so quickly, as they so quickly are pushing forward onto this high ground. Capital is basically on a flank all on his own, just doing whatever he wants. We see ultimates all in play. Greninja with the huge lift here, putting Origin and Decrypt down. NYAA needs to stabilize, and they need to do it now, but Amnesia just isn't letting them as Akua continues to chase them all the way to spawn row.
Yeah, Amnesia is just pushing their advantages, getting those stagger picks, making it so NYAA can't get that full fight that you want to have so desperately as they're rolling in close to almost capping this point.
Gimmick right now very close to the Dragon Strike, which could be good here to help enable them to push through this high ground, but it doesn't seem to be mattering. Capital has this Transcendence as well, so you got to figure for them, they're perfectly fine. Kind of, letting things, and there's another stick. And it's going to take out Immortality Field here, but the damage is being done. Origin tries to stabilize everything as the Dragon Strike comes in now for Speedy. Dragon Strike now in from Gimmick, but Gimmick is taken down by Akua mid-cast. And that is going to be all here for NYAA, and Amnesia gonna put this one to bed here early, a 4-map sweep, and they take the Transcendence Tier Preseason Championship in Season 9.
Yeah, Amnesia
Play
just looked
of the
so
game.
clean that last map. They were able to push their advantages. They were just focusing their targets, playing on off angles, and can't say enough about the individual plays from these players either. They were all hitting their shots, making their aggressive moves when they needed to, relying on each other. It was just really good Overwatch to watch all around.
It definitely was. Say a lot about how they got here into this match. It doesn't matter. In the end, they take the win, they take the preseason title, and they set themselves up beautifully for a run moving into season 9 starting next week. Amnesia looking great all night tonight. Beth, who stood out to you? Who is the player of the match in your eyes?
Oh, well, I'm gonna go for the low-hanging fruit here and pick Capital. We've been saying his name all night. It's not something that you see often with support players, but the way that he was balancing, keeping his team up, using aggression on his own, getting massive purples, massive windows, massive picks right when his team needed it. I have to give him a shout out for player of the match.
Capital, definitely fantastic. NYAA had a lot of flashes of brilliance tonight. Really was impressed with the tank play of Grom all night tonight. I definitely look forward to see what NYAA is going to do this season, and of course Amnesia as well. Two great teams setting up for two great runs here in the Transcendence tier in Tranquility Gaming. Reminder, tomorrow we have the Discord tier Discord tier preseason championship matchup between Reminiscence and MI7 as Reminiscence tries to go for the nostalgia sweep of the preseason. Should be a very good matchup. And again, as a reminder, on Monday, we kick off Season 9 with the Iris podcast previewing all the groups in Season 9. And we follow that up with predicting Tranquility right after, where our teams, or our content team will pick the winner in every single match coming up in Week 1. So lots of excitement coming up here, Beth. We are coming up to a fantastic Season 9 for sure. Thank you so much tonight, Beth. Thank you again to Bowsy and Hippie. Bowsy, your producer, Hippie, your observer tonight. Fantastic work from both of you. Bowsy, very first production, did a very good job. Everybody respect Bowsy in the chat, please. Respect Bowsy. Very important to respect Bowsy right now. Respect your producers, everybody. I am Mr. Yeti. We appreciate tuning in tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.